Hey everybody, welcome to another ActionFeatures.net Comics Weekend, more like Comics Week Late review. You know what I mean?
Tuesday.
We're way behind on this one. We had a busy weekend though. You had like a book report and busy weekend.
I got a good grade on.
Yeah, you did. So we were way behind, but we wanted to knock this one out before the next Wednesday rolls on.
Right.
Because otherwise we'd have been like super duper late.
Right.
So these
Today's
are
Monday or Tuesday?
Today's Tuesday.
Oh wow, we were one day off.
Yeah. These are releases from February 20th, 2013, I want to say.
Today's the 26th.
So that would be the 20th. The last Wednesday would be.
Yes.
Okay. So let's just buzz right through them. Let's get to it. Avengers issue 6 came in. This is another one of those, like the last issue and the issue before that. It's kind of like a character origin story of some of the new members of this Avengers team.
Who was it this time?
Captain Universe, I think is what this character is called. Captain Universe, yeah. So it tells the origin of that character, and basically, you know, she's kind of coming out of nowhere. The whole storyline is kind of her sitting there and meditating with Shang-Chi, the master of Kung Fu, and he's trying to get her to remember things.
Was he the one that trained Iron Fist?
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. So he's sitting there, and they're going through, and he's trying to get her to remember things, and so she has two different personalities, like the Captain Universe personality that is just kind of there, and then there's a person that it's inhabited, and this person is remembering how she was almost in a car accident, how she had a child, and all these different things. Meanwhile, while that's going on,
was this one any good?
it was okay.
Better than the last few?
I don't know, probably on par with the last few. While that's going on, though, Superior Spider-Man's there, and he's real rude to Cannonball and Sunspot.
You ruin it, Spidey.
Yeah, I hate the Superior Spider-Man thing. They never blatantly say it's Superior Spider-Man, I don't believe, like the Doc Ock Spider-Man. So, but I'm assuming it is, because he's a jerk. And so, if you're just getting into this book and you don't know what's going on with Spider-Man right now, you just think Spider-Man's a big jerk. Right. He, like, takes their food out of the fridge, even though it has their name on it, and starts eating it.
Yeah, Peter wanted to.
And then we get that Adam character, the character that was born of those aliens.
That's the issue I stopped reading, because that...
What's that?
That's the issue I just
The Adam character?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, he's there, and they can't understand what he's saying, and then all of a sudden it gets translated to what he's saying. I don't know. I'm almost kind of done with this book. I'm not really digging... What's your feet doing? I'm kind of not digging the origin stories of these characters, because I really don't care about them that much. And I want an Avengers book that's just really the Avengers.
Avengers Assemble is good for that.
That's good, yeah. I wish that, if that was called something else, like, we've been talking about Avengers Arena, and how they're doing kind of character spotlights each issue.
Mm-hmm.
And for that book, it's working. I think it's working great for those. But for this one, I'm not really enjoying it. I guess because it's called Avengers. And I want Avengers to just be about the regular Avengers. Call this Avengers Next. That's what he keeps saying.
I'd say Future Avengers.
Or something like that. Captain America issue 4, and this is the one you read. One of the ones you read. I loved it too. I said this is one of the ones you read. Captain America issue 4. This continues the storyline of Captain America caught in Dimension Z, the Arnim Zola controlled dimension.
I love the plan of him like going back getting the Avengers.
Oh yeah,
that might actually be able to start a decent Avenger comic.
Well, I don't know. See, here's the problem though.
Right.
This issue jumps forward 11 years. So far, the storyline had been jumped forward a year in Dimension Z. This one takes it forward 11 years, and he and Ian are still on the run. The kid he rescued for Arnim Zola's thing. That was a baby then, and now he's...
You have to ruin that thing that happened in the last issue, aren't you? The end shocker.
Oh, yeah. In the last issue, we found out he had an Arnim Zola like face in his chest, in his stomach.
He took over, basically.
Which, when the first issue, he got like injected with something.
Right.
And it's like a Zola face that's like in his stomach, and he's been hiding it for 11 years, I guess, from Ian, who he treats like his son. He trains him, and he's teaching him how to use the shield and stuff.
Like you were telling me, a year in that could only be like a day on Earth.
Exactly, but I don't know how 11 years. Unless this is all happening inside his mind, I have no idea. That's what makes this series so cool, is we don't know what's happening here. Because we know Cap's around in the Marvel Universe right now.
Right.
This 11-year jump, I mean, something's got to happen.
Might be Bucky might reveal... No, because they already said Steve's had...
Yeah, I don't... No, it's definitely not. Right. It's Steve Rogers that's around right now. We just don't know what's going to happen to this timeline, or if this even is a timeline, or if this is all inside Cap's head. What's going on?
Would you think it was cool if it was in Cuphead?
I don't know. I have no idea just yet.
I think I might think it's...
I don't know. It would be kind of cool if he's the only one that has memories of all these things and he really has lived this life and he thinks all this stuff happened. But in this issue, we get a little more between him and Ian, and we find out a little more where Ian came from. Ian's sister comes back from the first issue, and she's his older sister, and that's this character on the front cover. And she still was Zola, and then there's kind of a reveal of some villains at the end. Like Blaze was saying, Cap finds a what he thinks is the gateway to get back. Finally, after all these years of searching, and he wants to bring the Avengers there to kind of take out Zola or whatever. Love this book. Love Dimension Z. Great writing, great art by John Romita Jr. I think it's awesome.
I like how, like, I think the flashback was a little...
The flashback I thought was really cool. Yeah. I thought it was really neat. It's him taking care of his mom, and don't say what he had to do. But it's Cap doing what he has to do.
I like how he was teaching his kid not to cuss.
Yeah, I thought that was good. I thought the whole issue was great. Really great book.
That's my choice of the week between Thor and that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Deadpool number 5. This continues the Deadpool killing off the dead presidents and the ghosts and all that stuff. In this issue, he has to go up to space and take care of like the whole Star Wars type thing, the Star Wars missile system. It's before your time. It continues that. I mean, it continues to be funny. I continue to like Tony Moore art. Maybe this issue wasn't quite as funny as the other ones. It does end on a kind of a major cliffhanger with one of the characters that's been running throughout the book so far. I just kind of hope that. I think I might have said to be concluded. I can't remember at the end. I kind of hope that the dead president storyline wraps up in the next issue.
Why?
Because it's gone on long enough. I think it'll be 6 issues.
What would be next?
I don't know. It'll be another Deadpool story.
No.
What's that?
I don't know. I think we should just stick to the storybook thing after that, where he's going through all the...
Oh, that's a different series.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. That's Deadpool Illustrated.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, then we have a non-Marvel Now book, G.I. Joe issue 1 from IDW. This is the relaunch of G.I. Joe, and as you can tell by my Snake Eyes tattoo, I'm a big G.I. Joe fan, but I've given up on the comics a long time ago. I love the entire original Marvel run. I got every issue. Then DDP, Devil's Due Publishing came along and got the rights, and at first I was kind of okay with it, but I just really lost interest, and
what
then as things...
cartoon?
Well, I love the old cartoon. And then as things escalated into IDW, I just never picked anything up.
Right.
But with this issue 1, my comic shop guy was like, hey, I got the retail incentive cover, and it's kind of fun. It's this history of G.I. Joe on the front with the 60s G.I. Joe, if you want to get it. And I said, well, I'll get it and I'll check it out. The best thing about this book was this cover. The art was bad. The art was really, really bad. And yeah, the whole storyline is G.I. Joe stopping becoming a covert team, and the world's going to kind of know about him, which I kind of thought was maybe an homage to the old cartoon. That the whole world knows who the G.I. Joes are, kind of, and knows them by their code names. But it just was really kind of written poorly, and the dialogue was bad. And there's a new character that joins the Joe team called Hashtag, who is like this cyber girl that's going to be blogging about them as they go on adventures. And she even says, like, she's talking to Tunnel Rat about something, and she's got her phone, and she's like, tweeting it. And I about put the book down right then. I was just like, that's not for me. Are you alright there? Can you sit down normal? You okay?
Mm-hmm. My toe's kind of hurting a little.
Are you okay?
Yeah, it's alright.
Okay.
Just a cramp.
Alright, so that's definitely a thumbs down. The IDW G.I. Joe book. I did not enjoy it, and I will not be picking up another issue. Alright, Indestructible Hulk number 4. The storyline, as we all know, at this point, Bruce Banner is made a deal with S.H.I.E.L.D. He's working with them because he wants to do good. Like, he wants his to remember for his scientific stuff, and not just for being the Hulk.
Kind of like Stark.
Yeah, exactly. He wants to be...
He compared himself to Stark.
Yeah, exactly. So he's working with them now. They send him out. He meets his new research assistants.
Right.
And then Atuma, this Atlantean guy, is attacking with these just sea creatures or whatever. So they send off Hulk to take care of that. He gets in the battle with them, and then it ends on a cliffhanger between him fighting these creatures. It was cool to see Hulk fighting in the water. Thought that was pretty neat.
I forgot that S.H.I.E.L.D. has control over the monster, too.
Kinda, yeah. Well, they just direct him. They don't control him. They just direct him where he's needed.
I know, they're able to tell him what to do.
Not really.
Tell him what to fight.
Kinda, yeah. But they can't control him,
right.
per se.
Can
they can just say, hey, go there. They can drop him into a place where they need him to fight.
Right.
This issue kind of felt kind of short and not much to it. And it also ends at the cliffhanger, so it's leading to the next issue. It was good. but just not a lot of meat to it this time.
I kind of hate. I mean.
The short hair. You don't like the short hair?
No.
Yeah, the buzz cut is a little weird. Judge Dredd issue 4. This from IDW. This concludes the whole. Well, sort of concludes this clone storyline that they had going, and a judge that's kind of turned on Judge Dredd, and he's trying to deliver this ransom, and stuff escalates from there. It was okay.
You have a Judge Dredd book right there, don't you?
Yeah, I like Judge Dredd. It was okay. I kind of like the storyline of the judge who's been cloned, and how he's kind of running around and trying to stay out of the way of the judges because he thinks he's basically been accused of murdering a judge since his clone did it. That was pretty cool. But overall, just kind of okay. Not the best. Could be better. A guy had commented before that these don't hold a candle to the 2000 AD stuff, and I totally agree with that. I don't think that they're bad books per se, but they are not as good as the 2000 AD stuff. I totally agree with that comment. Morbius, issue 2. I kind of forgotten what even happened in the first issue since it's been so long since the first issue came out.
What?
Morbius the Living Vampire. You know, the Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, during the whole Amazing Spider-Man, Superior Spider-Man thing, he had escaped from prison. He wound up in a town that's kind of controlled by this mean guy who kind of runs the town, who has this like weird mohawk and stuff like that. And so he shows up and gets shot in the last issue. In this issue, he's kind of recovering from that. A girl takes him in and is keeping him inside this derelict movie theater. And then he has to confront the guy again. It's an okay book. I just don't think it's going to last very long.
I like the character.
I like the character too. I just don't think he can carry a book. The first issue I enjoyed. The second issue I'm kind of now going, I don't know if this book's going to be carried. Him trying to clean up this town or something like that. I don't know if that's what they're going with. But even like little things in the book, like she says to him, we got to keep you out of his sight, out of the bad guy's sight, you know. We don't want him to see you. You got to lay low. And then like a couple of pages later when somebody's in trouble, they're like, you got to go confront that guy right now. And it's like, what happened to lay low? I don't think that book's going to last very long. Nova, issue 1. This book was great.
I didn't read it.
I loved it. I've always been a fan of Jeff Loeb's writing. I think he writes a story better than he writes an ending. That may be the same case here, but right now I'm enjoying the storyline. It introduces the new Nova, which is the same Nova that's in the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon. Sam? Yeah. This is kind of where how he's going to become Nova. The whole story is told through both flashbacks and current time, where Jesse of the Nova Corps, who is his father, is reliving these memories and telling these stories to his kids. But Sam doesn't believe him. He thinks they're kind of make-believe stories, and he's a drunk. He's the janitor at his school, and he's always getting sick and not able to do the things he needs to do. So, no, his dad is. No, he's like Sam's a kid. He's not getting drunk. So Jesse, his dad, is kind of always telling stories about being a Nova and things like that. But he also is shirking his responsibilities because he's a drunk, I guess. And his daughter believes all the stories, and Sam's like, these are hooey or whatever. So all the while, you're seeing these kind of flashback storylines that are being told as he's telling a story. And the Guardians of the Galaxy are in some of these stories, and yeah, it was really well written. The art by Ed McGuinness is great. I'm very interested to see where it goes. I really liked this book.
Who do you like better, the Jesse Nova or the Sam Nova? I like the Sam better because that's the one I've been growing up with.
Well, yeah, the Jesse Nova, I think is a new Nova maybe.
Oh.
The Nova I grew up with is Richard Rider, which is gone now. But Jesse is the Nova that is his father.
I like Sam.
I mean, I could end up liking Sam a lot too. I don't know yet because he's not Nova just yet in this book. I enjoyed him on the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon with you guys, though. Great book. I can't wait for the second issue of that.
That was my second favorite number.
You really got to read that book.
I do.
Yeah. Savage Wolverine number 2. This continues Spider-Man. Wolverine's journey in the Savage Land with Shane of the She-Devil to go destroy this big giant mountain thing. In this issue, they're getting away from dinosaurs. And another person arrives in the Savage Land, and he doesn't also know what he's doing there. I don't know who he is. I didn't go to look it up. One of the things with these reviews, and I was explaining this to a guy in the comments the other day, is that I want to go into this fresh, as if I'm any other reader. I want to be the same as you guys that's maybe picking these books up for the first time, and I don't want to do a ton of research when I see a character I don't know, because I want the book to explain to me what I'm seeing. Instead of, because not everybody's going to look at a book and go, okay, I need to figure out who this is, and who that is. I want to go in kind of fresh and just let the story take me wherever it wants to take me.
Right.
So there's a character that shows up, and he's just in the same kind of situation as Wolverine, but he's got sort of like a robot intelligence or something with him that he calls Calvin. I don't know what he is.
Calvin and Hobbes.
No, it's not Calvin and Hobbes.
That.
It's not Calvin and Hobbes.
I've been reading that.
His name is Amadeus, and he's got these powers that this Calvin character can create. He wears this suit, and he runs into the natives, and they kind of think of him as a god. So there's not a lot that happens in this issue other than him showing up and Wolverine and Shayna fighting some dinosaurs. The Wolverine Shayna storyline really doesn't go any further. They're just getting to the mountain. It's basically just for this guy to show up. Beautiful art, not much on the way of story though. The Shadow, Year 1, Issue 1 by Matt Wagner. This is great. I'm very excited about this book. It's going to tell, the first year of Shadow being Shadow. The storyline starts off in Cambodia, I think it is, in 1929. And there's these guys that run away because this guy's destroying the whole village, and they call him Yinko, which in the Shadow movie we all... Yeah, so, anyway, so he shows up, and you think maybe that's Shadow. And then also in 1929, Lamont Cranston's coming back to New York. He's okay, but I don't know if the camera's picking that up. Lamont Cranston's returning to New York, and I don't know, they don't tell when in 1929 the two things happened. Right. They tell when one happened, they don't tell when the other one happened. So I'm not sure which one happens after the other. I'm assuming the New York thing happens after Cambodia, but I don't know. It introduces Margot Lane and her relationship with these gangster-type guys, and at the end, Lamont has kind of got to get her out of trouble. There's not a lot to this first issue, but I'm very excited about the possibilities. Star Trek Countdown to Darkness #2, the prelude.
I have the #1.
Okay, I'll get it for you. I'll get it for you at the comic shop tomorrow. Issue 2, this is continuing the prelude to the new Star Trek Into Darkness movie. The last issue, I'm sorry if I'm spoiling something for you, but by now you should have read it. At the end,
haven't read it yet.
I'm sorry I have to spoil it. Well, you all know who this character is, really. At the end, on that planet where there's those creatures, they run into Captain Robert April, who in the animated series was an earlier captain of the Starship Enterprise. Which is kind of weird they're introducing that for this storyline, because I thought that the Enterprise was just getting built. But they kind of explain that in this issue, how he was a captain in the Enterprise, and yet the Enterprise is kind of brand new. He fills Kirk in on how he had to violate the Private Directive to help these aliens, and then he says, maybe one day you'll have to do that too, and my first officer faked my death, and yada yada yada. And they're wondering how they get supplies to fight these resistance aliens against the bad guy aliens. And he says they have supply runs. There's sort of an intro of another classic series character that looks nothing like the classic series character. I don't want to say because I'm going to ruin it.
Video?
Maybe after the video.
Oh, was it Robert from the episode before Shore Leave? The one with the...
It's an animated series episode. Captain Robert April is.
Oh, I was thinking of Robert in the episode where...
You want to just wait and ask me afterwards?
Yeah.
Okay. So he I don't even know what I was saying now. So there's a character that's reintroduced. I don't know if that's supposed to be the old character or what, but it's very strange. And at the end, one of the characters is running off to go do something maybe crazy, like violate the Prime Directive again. I'm not going to say who it is. I really don't know how this is going to lead into the movie, though, but I guess we're going to find out.
Dude, is that him?
That's Kirk, dude. Oh, it looks like Kirk. You're being so weird this time. So, Superior Spider-Man #4.
Bad?
It's not very good. In this issue, I don't know what to
cheat
say.
On Mary Jane and go for Gwen Stacy.
No. Gwen Stacy's dead still.
Oh, yeah.
So, in this issue, he's basically just showing how much of a better Spider-Man he is. Listen to these little spider drones. He's gonna do his work. He's got weird eyeball goggle things. And so... He's doing that. I can't even really want. I don't want to talk about this issue. That's how much I don't enjoy this book. And then he goes off to help Aunt May and shirks his responsibilities. Of course, Ghost Peter's there, going, "Oh no, you gotta go save this. You gotta go save this." But he's going with Aunt May to physical therapy, and then he's gonna come up with he wants to do some kind of radical treatment to help her legs so she doesn't have to walk with a cane anymore. So then he goes to his work and is creating this rig thing for her. And he gets real mad when his boss says, "What are you talking about human trials? What are you?" He's like, "Oh, I'm Dr. Peter Parker." And they're like, "Well, you're not a doctor." And he's like, "Oh, I never got my doctorate." And decides, "I'm going to go back to college and get my doctorate because I won't have that." And so then he's like going to college or something. And then this character who I don't know, Massacre, this bad guy that kills people, escapes from prison, kills somebody from Spider-Man's past, and then at the very end, an old villain shows up for a panel.
So
I don't like that book at all.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is Ghost Peter any good?
No.
So you're probably not even gonna like Peter when he is alive.
I don't know. Depends on say put Peter back to what Peter should be. Thor, the movie adaptation, issue 2. We all know what's happening in this issue. You've seen the movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's basically the movie. It almost feels like this adaptation should have been maybe 2. You all right there?
Mm-hmm.
Should have been 3 issues because this one feels really, really rushed. All the stuff that they crammed into this last issue. Yarba Medina's good. The pacing's okay. It's a movie adaptation.
I have to say one thing about the Superior Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Would you think if Spider-Man did come to life, act how he did in the A+X comic, would you like that at all?
Oh yeah, I mean anything to get him back to just being Peter Parker Spider-Man.
He was alright in the
yeah.
A+.
Well, do we ever figure out if he was Superior Spider-Man or not though?
He didn't act like a jerk.
Yeah.
He's Pete.
I don't know, man. Who knows? None of the writers seem like they're on the same page with that even. Thor: God of Thunder issue 5. This continues the God Killer storyline. In the last issue, in Old Man Thor time, the current modern Thor shows up as he's kind of fighting all the God Killer's minions and things like that. So in this issue, during the past, we see him, how he escapes from the God Killer the first time. You sit back? How he escapes from the God Killer the first time, and then modern times, it's him facing the God Killer, and how he gets to the point where he's with Old Man Thor. So it's kind of bringing things together. I almost feel like they've kind of ended the past Thor storyline, and they're bringing the modern and the future kind of together. So we're going to see more of a cohesive, I think, all-together storyline at this point.
I think I like this book better. It was alright. I wasn't the biggest fan of the old, young Thor.
You didn't like the young Thor? That's right, you didn't like the young Thor.
I liked it, it just...
So you'd be kind of happy if the young Thor was kind of over. And it might be with this. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to continue doing the... I couldn't think that there'd be much more to say with that after this issue. The art by Esad Ribic is still fantastic. I think the writing is really good. It just kind of didn't feel like this one had too much to it compared to what's happened in the last few issues. I think we're coming to the end of the storyline pretty soon, now that everybody's all the timelines are coming together.
What's going to be next for Thor?
Who knows, dude? Depends on what they do with the next storyline. So you said your pick of the week is Cap.
Yeah.
Mine was down between either Cap or Nova. But I think I gotta give it to Nova. I really, really enjoyed that Nova book. I thought it was a ton of fun.
If I ever get that Nova toy in Marvel Universe, I'm going to use that as Sam.
That's cool, man.
I just like Sam.
Sam's cool. Well, that's the Nova you've got on the cartoon. So I guess that's it. We'll have another one up actually on the weekend this time, I hope. Right? So we'll sign off on this, and we'll see you guys next week. Keep reading the comics.